Today we're speedrunning Wobbly Life. Now the speedrun starts with our grandma getting mad at us for not having a job, so she kicks us out of the house and tells us to go get one. And because of that, our speedrun is completing every job on Earth. And that's gonna start with jelly delivery, where we go up to that guy, he tells us, hey, I need you to get me some jelly. And we can take this truck because you can enter any vehicle and just steal them. And we'll make our way over to this gas station where the jelly's gonna be. I'm gonna open up the truck by hitting that button, and then we come over to this jelly, don't pay the guy because that's not my job, and then I go put that in the truck, close down it, time to deliver it. This is the very first job and just the tutorial, so obviously it is the easiest one. And then right at the end, we just gotta open back up our delivery truck, take out the jelly, and that's gonna be job number 1 done. Now it's time to head over to the post office. So we'll turn around using this truck and also just leave that money there because I have no need for money. I'm just doing jobs for fun. And all we're gonna do is come over to this building where we can just stop right there, get out of our truck, and make our way over to this post office worker who tells us, hey, I need you to go deliver these papers. And they have us on this really long vehicle where we shoot the papers at people's houses. Thankfully, it doesn't actually matter if you waste any papers either, so we can just spam them if we want. Like for this one, I always like try and going for this shot, and you just get that. Got it first try, actually. And then yeah, pretty much everybody has this mailbox sign where we have to deliver the papers to, and as long as it's generally in that correct direction, it's gonna be good. Now, to actually complete this job, you do have to deliver papers to all 25 houses. So right now we have 15 of those, and we'll just keep going back and forth, taking on all these mailboxes. And yeah, it's pretty much just getting good at aim, which last few, we get that one, and we just have to aim this paper all the way up in the sky because that house is far away, and that's going to be all 25. So once we get off this vehicle, they're going to give us the $50. We leave, and we're going to take this scooter to make our way over to the fishing docks. Now for here, I like this scooter because you can just jump off cliffs and we're fine. Then we'll turn around with it and make our way over here. The reason we wanted the scooter is because normally if you use a car over here, you're not going to be able to fit through the fishing dock. So this is just going to speed us up a little bit. And we'll hit up the worker that's in the fishing dock, accept the job, and then check where it's going to be. But because it's not close enough to us, we'll then just quit the job and accept another one until finally it actually is one close enough. Because you have to catch 5 fish in a specific fishing area, so we want the one closest to us, obviously. By the way, if you end up enjoying the video, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. For certain mini games, I like using the keyboard and mouse, and then for other mini games like this one, I like using my controller. Thankfully, you can just switch back and forth. It's really easy. But yeah, if you're ever wondering why the controller prompts change like that, that's why I'm just switching back and forth. This game makes it very easy. And right there, we're going to catch our herring. And all you got to do to catch the fish is just kind of play a game with it where what you're trying to do is move over to the right because it was moving to the left. Then it's going to catch up. We can do it again. We're just tiring out the fish until finally it will come up with us. It's a nice and relaxing mini game where you kind of just chill out. But sometimes you can get unlucky, which might be this fish, because we'll take it out and yeah, it's just seaweed, which doesn't count. So there is a bit of RNG in this mini game, but yeah, we're just hoping we get fish and not get random stuff that's thrown in the ocean. And it looks like this is fish number 5, which yeah, pretty good luck. We only got that one thing of seaweed, and now we have to bring the ship back. So I like putting this boat as close to the fish pen as possible, and that's because we have to throw these fish in, and the easiest way to do that is kind of just jumping up with them. Then for the last one, you can jump in with it, and it's nice and easy. But if you accidentally throw those fish into the ocean, then you lose them and just lose the minigame. You won't actually complete the job. So I am very careful about that. But now I'm just going to bring this speedboat over and then jump on this dock. That just brings us a little bit closer over to this part. And then we can make our way over to this seaplane where I can interact with that. I want to aim my camera up. That way it actually flies in the air. And now we're just taking it. It's that easy to start a plane. And we're just going to be bringing this guy all the way over to the ice cream job. And I'm trying to not hit any light posts or anything because that will cause the plane to explode. And then we'd get launched all over the place. So we just want to have a nice calm landing. And now we're going into Ice Cream World. We can check the shop. We'll see what kinds of ice creams it has, and yeah, we'll do this one. And this stuff is pretty simple. What you want to do is put your bowl in a specific place and then match that with the ice cream that they have on the screen. So for this one, we want 2 vanillas and 1 of these strawberries. Then there's going to be people who are moving these boxes back and forth because this factory is actually awful. I don't know who designed it, but they try to make it hard for you. I am then going to put some chocolate sauce on though, and that is good. Make sure I don't run into any of these people, especially because if you're not careful, then they will hit your ice cream out of the bowl and lose you a bunch of times. So we need to make sure that doesn't happen. But we have to complete a total of 5 different orders. And this next order, along with the syrup, is also going to want us to get some sprinkles. So I will make sure I also dodge those people. Again, this factory is just a terrible organization, but they're going to want some chocolate sprinkles. We'll put that on the ice cream too. Bring it back, move out of my way, and get that right to its spot. And our last one is nice and easy with it only being 3 vanilla ice creams, no toppings, so we can bring it straight to those people and complete that job. So yeah, pretty good stuff. And now we're on our way to be a taxi driver. We can bring ourselves straight over here, jump on top of this taxi so we can interact with it, and start the job where you have to pick up a total of 5 people and bring them to different places. So like these first people right here, I will grab them, then I look at my map, I see where the green flag is, and we can head over there. And thankfully, all of these people are going to be in the same general area, so we don't have to drive too long. Like for this one, we just have to head up this hill, go over to Magic Motors, where we'll drop off these people, and that's drop off number 1. Now we have to head back down here. And you know, even though I'm a great taxi driver, sometimes you got to go fast. So I will jump off cliffs if it does mean I get to my customers faster, obviously. Look, I just care about my customers that much. I will risk the company's profits and, you know, destroying this vehicle if that means I can pick them up a little bit faster. And we can head over here where there is some rain, and okay, you know, it's fine. It's fine. I wouldn't worry about the car. Imagine you're getting a taxi and it comes like this. Would you enter that taxi? You know, I would. I trust me. I seem like a very stand-up guy, I say as I crash into a building. Hey, that's just the world of being a taxi driver. Sometimes you gotta crash to go fast. Now for these people, we'll grab them right there, and they want to get dropped off. Okay, they definitely could have walked over there. They did not need this taxi ride. I guess it's raining, to be fair. That's not that much of an excuse. And for the last set of people, we'll get them by Muscle Beach and drop them off over by the helicopter. So that's going to be job done. Now we want to head over to this lighthouse where we'll just crash into this person really quick. Then we can talk to them and we do this race, which for this one, you just want to aim yourself upward. Put your gears up, that way we go as fast as possible, and we have to make it through all these rings. Now, unfortunately, it is raining right now, which doesn't really affect the speedrun in any noticeable way, but it does make it a little bit harder to see. I have done this multiple times though, so I'm not too worried about it. We just gotta play well. The hardest part, which honestly isn't that hard, but it is the hardest part of this, is just making it through those bridges, making sure you don't crash into anything. And finally, we can make it over to the finish line, which that's gonna be the job complete. Which now it's time to head over to this person where you can do some parachuting. So we'll talk to this person. We go over to the farm, which is where this plane drops us out, and we're going to be aiming towards on our map, the hammer. Now, once we're over the construction yard, we can drop down and not deploy our parachute because that just seems like too much work. Instead, we're just going to drop into the ground. This person's looking for skilled builders. I'm not a skilled builder, but I'll do what I can. And by what I can, that means just bringing over these bags of concrete and placing them down where all these yellow glowing things are and creating walls. And basically, we're just gonna go back and forth and just place down more walls as we see them. There's also gonna be a few that we have to place inside, so I kind of will try to configure myself to actually be able to make it in this building, then do some weird floating because apparently I can do that, and that's looking good. And finally, we can finish the setup by placing these guys right there, and then making our way out of this building where there's going to be these hammers. And with these guys, it's pretty simple stuff. We just go to each of these things and just kind of hammer them. And finally, we'll just finish out the inside. I have to make my way through this thing if these hammers actually want to do that. But we finish that up. We get a bunch of more builders, which are actually going to do the roof and all that. I appreciate it because I'm not trying to do that. I'm not sure where they were to help me before this and why they just do the roof, but I will take that. That's the job complete. But as soon as we put up this house, we also have to take it down. Yeah, they say, hey, my supervisor doesn't actually like this house. He wants you to create another one. And before we do that, we got to explode it. So we're going to bring some TNT over here first. Then we can go over to this detonator, press that. That just explodes part of the house. And for the rest of it, we're going to want to bring over this huge wrecking ball and just kind of go over to the house and destroy it little by little. It's a little bit awkward to do with this thing. We're just trying to break down all of the walls. Eventually the ceiling's going to collapse, you know, easy stuff. Does feel bad that I put all this work into constructing this house only to then break it down like a second later. but that's just how the business works. So we should be able to finish out with that. That's the job complete. And then one last thing with this guy is to recycle the building materials. So we have to go over to the area that we just destroyed, and there's going to be a couple of building materials that have arrows on them, so we're going to want to take them both. After that, we can put them into this machine, which they will go in. We can sit down on this chair, and then we have a couple things to do. Like for this first one, we smash them. Then we have to bring them over to the spinny thing where we just spin our control stick over and over again. Not exactly sure what this is for, but I'm sure it's important. And then finally, there's this saw, which I feel like this is the worst design for the saw. Like, why do they have it going back and forth instead of just staying in the middle? I have no idea, but I guess this just works sometimes. So we have to split that into 4 equal parts, and we're good to go. That's going to spit out some more construction materials, and then we have to do the same thing with the other parts. Now, once you do both of those things, it's going to give us 4 total stacks of whatever building materials these are, and we just got to bring them over. Kind of just walk them slowly over to this part. That's going to be 2. And we bring these other 2 as well. That's going to be the job. And now it's time to be a lumberjack. So we're just going to head forward a little bit over to this green building. And this guy over here is going to be like, hey, you trying to chop down some trees? So I agree. We're going to take 2 of these axes with us and bring them over to one of these trucks because we need one of them to actually be able to fit the full size trees that we're going to cut down. So I'm going to place my 2 axes in there, close the back of it so they're not going to fly out, and then go find our trees. You can see there's a bunch on the map, but we only need to get 2. So the first one is gonna be over here. I can stop my car and then do some dual wielding with these axes to cut down that tree, place them back in our truck, and then take the wood, which this thing is always a little bit awkward to actually get in the truck. You kind of have to awkwardly fit it in there, but that's pretty good. And I want to make sure I actually have at least one of these axes in a good spot, so I'll move it over. And now we just have to find one more tree, which this is a pretty good one over here. We're cutting it down, not even using the sharp part. We were using the wood part to cut that down, but you know, it works. That's all that matters. That's going to be our 2 trees we need, so we can bring them back over to the green building. Now, all you have to do at this point is kind of drive the car close to those parts. That way the trees just automatically get over there. And now my truck is a little bit stuck. Okay, that's kind of awkward. We're just going to take another one. We'll place this guy over here and then open up the back of it for later. And then we just have to move all of these planks over to this spot. And yeah, pretty easy stuff. Now, once we have all 4 of those, that's going to be worth $20. So that's enough money that I need. And that means we're actually going to leave this lumberjack area. Unfortunately for this one, you have to wait out the whole timer. So we might as well prepare for our next thing while we're waiting for this one to finish up. And our next job is going to be over in this farming area. So I'll bring myself over here. We'll check this field. It looks like it's good. We want one that's not plowed yet, so we can do all 3 of the farming jobs at the same time. And this field will work perfectly. Then I'm going to set up my farming materials just so they're ready to do their jobs. We'll place the tractor with the seeds right there, and the harvester can go right there. So yeah, they're all ready. Now we just kind of have to wait for 50 seconds. You can hang out with the chickens while you wait, so that's a pretty fun time. Now after that timer is up, we're gonna get job complete, so we did a good job. We can talk to this person, and he tells us we need to plow his field. So we'll head over to the tractor with the plow, and yeah, we're pretty much just going in circles plowing this field. What you have to do is get it up to 100%, but you don't actually have to do this perfectly. There can be a few unplowed spots, and it's gonna be fine. So corners like that, I'm not too worried about. Pretty much in general though, we're just going in a circle. Once we meet the last spot we plowed, we just keep going. Now this field is pretty well plowed at this point. We only have 10% we have to do. We can speed up right there. But at this point, I'm kind of just trying to see any small spots that I can still plow, like these spots at the edge. And there's gonna be this big one. We literally just need 1% more. And there we go, that's the job. Now we can talk to our farmer friend again, and this time he wants us to place seeds, which is the exact same idea. But this time, instead of plowing the fields, we're just going around and placing down these seeds. Yeah, literally the exact same thing. This one was thankfully even easier than the last one, so that's another job complete. It's also going to give us some rain. I'm sure that's going to help the plants grow. That's not actually how it works. But then for this last one, we actually have to harvest them, which this is pretty simple as well. We just go in circles and harvest these things. This time it's going to be tomatoes, and every time you fill up that entire bar, you'll see that it drops out some of those tomatoes. And yeah, we just have to get a bunch of these. We just got hit by lightning. Okay, that's kind of bad luck. At least we have this huge harvester, so it didn't actually affect us. And once all of that is done, you'll see that we have all 9 crops that we need to deliver. So we're going to bring this harvester kind of out of the way. And then we can bring this huge lumberjack car that we brought from the lumberjack part. And that's why we wanted to keep it with us, because this is going to very well be able to fit all of these different plants. So it's a pretty good way of doing this. And yeah, pretty simply, you just want to grab some of these tomatoes, put them in your truck, truck and just continue this until we have all 9. By the way, the game gives you a ton of time to do this mission. We don't need anywhere near this amount of time. I guess it doesn't assume you're going to have the Lumberjack car, so maybe usually you're not going to be this efficient. But with this truck, we just don't even have to worry about it. We're bringing all these guys with us straight away. We just have to kind of awkwardly get up this cliff. Time to make our way back over to town, and it's a pretty easy journey over. It is possible if you're not careful enough for some of these plants to get out of your truck though, so I will be a little bit careful about that. But we will still be taking shortcuts, like just going on this grass instead of taking that weird road. And then we can make our way forward, and there's a couple of places that can be the drop-off spot. It looks like it's going to be the burger spot. So that works out pretty well for us because this is going to be exactly where our next job is too. Now all I have to do is take all of these guys out of our truck. We place them over by the burger spot, and yeah, we just continue that until we delivered all 9. And yeah, pretty great delivery if you do ask me. And then we can head over to this person where we say, hey, we want to be a burger chef this time. And now it's time to make some burgers. Now the important thing about making burgers is it doesn't matter if you accidentally put stuff on the floor. You know, some people say that might cause germs. I say that's the customer's problem. So we're gonna make this first burger, which is just a single burger with some cheese, as you can see by that guy. And then we're already gonna start preparing the next burger because we can place that patty there. We can get this top bun, and then we can also get one of these bottom buns, because the burger is always going to have 2 buns and a patty. So we always know we can place that while we're waiting for one to bake. Then we can see this next one. It is going to be a tomato and a lettuce, so we can just make those. Pretty simple process of making burgers. We just continue this for 5 of them. Oh, and this one's really nice. That one is literally just buns and a patty, so we'll take it. And for our last burger, we're just gonna wait here by the exit. We see it growing from a really small one into a bigger one. Not exactly sure how that happens, but I give it to our customer and we're good to go. Which now, next up, it's time to deliver some pizza. So we'll head past the wacky inflatable tube guy who's just kind of chilling by the car dealership and make our way over to the pizza shop where we got to deliver pizza fast. So we will check in with this guy. He's like, hey, take this pizza order, which it's only going to be 1 box, so it's good. We can then place this pizza box in the back of the pizza car and drive it over, which this delivery is kind of an awkward spot. So we can just jump on that, get some height, see this person and be like, hey, have your pizza. So a very easy job, really quick to get done. And now it's time to go to the disco. So I'll make my way over to this guy. Sorry about that, buddy. And I probably shouldn't be blocking the door, my bad. Bro says don't cause any trouble after I hit him in the face with a car. You know, I'm not gonna cause any more trouble. But we have to talk to the DJ and he's like, hey, you gotta dance. And this minigame is pretty much just an auto scroller where you have to go to the spots at the right time, step on them, and then yeah, you're just dancing to the music. It's kind of long though, so we'll just skip past it for the video. All right, that's the dancing section, which this guy's like, oh yeah, you're a great dancer. Good job, man. And now because of that, he just gives us a bunch of money. I appreciate it. So after this, it's time to head over to Wobbly TV for a game show, because apparently being on a game show also counts as a job. Now we have to go up a couple of these elevators, make our way over here, turn around, hit the up button, and that puts us in this area where there is this whole game show set. And we head up to this guy who's like, hey, you want to be our next contestant? And we have to answer 5 questions right to win. So there's this whole studio audience that's like, hey! And this is gonna be the wonderful Wobbly quiz. So first we have question number 1, and I'm not gonna lie for this one, I just Googled and looked on the wiki page to actually get all these answers, like what animals live in the ice caves? That's gonna be penguins, and that's gonna be correct. 1 point out of 5. What's the fancy bed in the furniture shop called? That's gonna be the Sleepy Sleeper 3000. What object does Granny have in her front garden? A pink flamingo. How does Wobbly Island deal with its toxic waste? Of course, they feed it to a monster. And finally, what color is the spiral slide at the swimming pool? That's gonna be green. So at this point, this guy's trying to build up the suspense. He's like, I don't believe it. We have a winner. I did it. So that's gonna be only $30. Honestly, I feel like I deserved more, but we're gonna respawn from there. That way we're closer to the hospital. And here we're gonna be kind of a bad person by working as an emergency responder, but we're only actually gonna take a job if it's really close to us, because otherwise it would take way too much time. But finally we got it and we're good to go. Yeah, kind of messed up, I'm not gonna lie. Hopefully someone went out to save those people, but I'm trying to go fast. Now with this one, we just have to head straight over here, which is barely any moving at all. We're gonna take this person who's already on the stretcher and we can bring them into our ambulance, just kind of try to lift them. Excuse me, buddy, get in there. We can close down the ambulance and just head back to the hospital. So this one's definitely worth it just because you barely have to travel any distance. So even though we had to quit out and go back in a couple of times, it saves so much time. Now we're heading out with this person, which we just have to drag them out. Excuse me, dude. Come on, try to be helpful. You know, I think I'm a great EMT person. Anyways, we're bringing them to the hospital, and that's going to be the job complete. Now it's time to hit up another one of these ambulances, and this time we're heading over to the fire station, which we can drive over here, and just like last time, we only want the mission that's actually close enough. So we're going to check the one. We'll see that's not where we want it to be. That one is not on our map. I'm just checking the map, and I'm looking for one that's like straight ahead of me. So right there, we can check. We can see that it's over by the chemical plant, and we know we can do this one. Hopefully those other fires will actually get let out. I mean, it's raining right now, so maybe the rain can help with that. But now we have to bring this fire truck all the way over to where the fires are. So pretty simple stuff. Just kind of drive past things, break these stoplights, you know, not my problem. And we're kind of just heading back up this area the same way we came from the farm. I can try to go up this thing. It's a little bit hard because the fire truck is so large. And then we see that there's this huge fire by the chemical plant. And what you have to do is first break these gates that are blocking our way. They shouldn't be in my way. I'm just trying to do my job. And then we're going to take one of these fire hoses, if I can actually get it, and just go little by little and put out the fires. All you have to do is spray them with water a little bit. That's going to do enough of the job. And yeah, we just have to get all of these guys. So this first one is going to have 4. We get all of those. Then we'll come over to this next one. And yeah, we just repeat this until all the fires are out. So here is going to be our last fire. We kind of just spray it in the air and hope it's actually going to land on the fire. And that's going to be our job complete. And now we have to head over to the chemical plant, which it makes more sense just to walk there than trying to move this fire truck, just because it does not have good turn radius. So I walk my way over to the chemical plant. We can open it up by pressing that button. And then there's going to be this truck, which we want to open up. We talk to this person. He says, hey, you got to help us deal with this toxic waste. And we have to get rid of at least 5 of these barrels. So what I want to do is go straight over to these guys, get one in each one of my hands, and kind of just move with them like this a little bit awkwardly. But we put those in the truck, and we just have to get 5 of them, which I will try to get that second one, accidentally put it on the floor. All right, a little bit awkward. We're just a bit green, you know, I'm sure we're fine. We can put that one in there though. And I do like getting an extra one of these just in case, because sometimes as we're driving over there, some of these could get out of the truck. So we'll just do a safety barrel. And now we're bringing these guys all the way over to the monster that eats them. So what you want to do is go over to this cliff, and we want to go down it incredibly slowly. So I will just use my brakes, be able to go down there. That way it's faster than having to go the long way around. So we can make our way over to this monster, open this guy up, and yeah, this is Louis. We just have to feed him our toxic waste, and you know, he's a nice guy. We appreciate him. You do feel kind of bad for him that he's caged up, but you know, I'm sure he enjoys it. He's having a good time. And as soon as we get 5 of those guys in there, we can then respawn, because we'll make our way over to this car. Our next mission is going to be doing art, so we'll make our way over to the art studio, and we can talk to this artist who tells us that we need to make a statue. Now, first thing for the statue is to pick up a couple of these chisels and just go and make our beautiful statue. You know, we're just skilled like this, where we can just kind of spam them anywhere and it works. And that's going to make this person getting launched by something. And then we have to paint it. So I'm going to get the yellow paint first, which we can see by the board. You need to paint a total of 4 times. Now you can only get 3 paints with one singular color. So we have to go back to the yellow. So we actually get it the 4th time. Then we'll go over to blue. For this one, I just have to put it 2 times. We can get red. This one's also going to be 4 times. Black is going to be 2 times painting it. And then we have to mix a couple of colors. So I'll stand on the red and then also stand on the blue, since that'll make purple. And we can use that on the statue again 2 more times. Before then, we spray off that paint. That way we can make a different color. This time we need to make green, so we'll get blue and yellow. And we'll finish out our beautiful statue by pressing that on there 2 times. That gives us the money and the job. And now we have to go be a garbage man. For this one, like usual, just driving over towards it, using our map to know where to go. And this person tells us that we need to give them a hand, but we'll check our maps, see that that one is in a good spot. And yeah, I'm just looking, seeing that one. When it goes over to the right, we know that's the spot where we want it to be. And that means we can actually go and get one of these garbage trucks and bring it over to the place with all the bags we need to pick up. So we'll make our way up this cliff, because you can see there's a bunch of buildings and those have the garbage bags. And for the most part, I'm just going to certain places using my map, seeing that there are 2 bags over here that we need to pick up. So we can get this one first. We have to put it on the back thing of this truck, and then we can press this button, which if I can actually press it the first time, but we can press the button, that's going to put it in the garbage truck, and that's going to be 1 out of 6 trash done. These bags will always be in slightly different places though, so this time pretty good RNG. We'd prefer not having to go up to the mountain like we will have to for the last bag, but not the worst thing in the world. This is going to be our last one. We just have to do that, respawn, respawn, and this puts us right by the furniture store where we have to deliver some furniture. But like usual, we'll be using a certain trick. We can talk to this person, accept the job, see that flag is going to be too far away, but our second time, that was actually really good luck, we get a place that's really close. So we have to bring this couch out of the way, which it does not want to. Excuse me, couch. Okay, there's like a small aisle. I guess we'll just bring it this way because this couch did not want to be nice. Excuse me, door. Yeah, this game just hates me. Everything is trying to stop me from moving. I guess that's just being a wobbly man. But this spot is really nice because we don't have to bring this in a car or anything. Literally, we can just walk it over to this person's house. You could have honestly picked that up yourself. I'm not sure why you needed someone to do it for you. I guess to be fair, couches are pretty heavy though. And we can take this guy, which is going to be this really weird airplane machine. And yeah, we can bring it straight over to the mining mission, which this one is also pretty fun because what we're going to do is only slow down a little and then just explode right into the mine. And we're just completely fine. So it's time to go and find some sparkly gems. And we can also turn on our miner hat to help us with that. I mean, you don't really need to. It just lights things up a little bit. You know, it kind of sets the scene. But all we need to do here is just get a couple of ores. So what I'm going to do is grab 2 of these pickaxes. And then I'm going to come to this spot. We'll break that. And I can also come to this spot and break a little of that too. You don't really have to go to these 2 different places. I just like to. Especially because this is another one where you have a lot of time to make your way to the next mission. Just like the one when we did the Lumberjack stuff. All you need is to get a couple of these and you're going to be fine. So I will place both of those on. Those are going to make us our money. And our job's already complete, but we do have to wait the 3 minutes. You can see that stuff is getting processed. It's making us money, and we can make our way over to this guy's truck, which we're going to bring it all the way up the mountain to get into the super secret science base. So pretty much all I'm going to do is just kind of off-road drive and just make our way up this hill. But in general, I'm just trying to go upwards. I think this might be a shortcut. This is not a shortcut at all, actually. Okay, I have to get back on the main road at this point. This is a little bit awkward. I think what we can do is move this up here. And now my car's stuck. Okay, that is a little awkward. We can respawn and we're back over here. That's fine. This is why you have the extra time. So I'm just going to steal this person's police car. And we still should have time to make it to the lab before our timer's up. But what I will have to do instead of just regular driving is head over here. And you can see that there's this thing which can get you to go up in the air. What you have to do is aim it, kind of look down at the ground. That way it's going to move you upwards. And I'm kind of just trying my best to aim this where it needs to go. We can let go of it and then we can fall down. And then as soon as I get a little bit down by there, we can respawn. And now we're up higher on the mountain. So at this point, now I can steal this person's race car. And I mean, it's really nice. And now it's mine. And we're going to bring it all the way over to the science base, which we can go to this spot. Just kind of ram our car in there because I'm like, open up, hurry. I'm trying to go fast and you're making me not go fast. But I can press this button and we want to fall a little bit faster. So I'll just go through that. Accidentally get hit as I'm trying to do it. But now we're in the science base. But as we try to go forward, this person's like, hey, you're not supposed to be here. But this scientist's like, hey, you can be here if you help us fix this UFO. I'm just going to ignore those people and instead do a different scientist mission. And that means I'm going to head over to this dude who's just kind of messing around with these potions. We can talk to him. And now we have to make certain potions. So you see on the whiteboard, that's what you have to make. I have to pull this thing if it wants to actually grab onto this, please, game. Okay, as I was saying, I have to pull this, or I guess push it over to the red. Then I have to turn this over to be yellow. So this thing's always really annoying to move, but you just have to do something like that. And then that's already on the green bean. So we can press that button and start making that solution. Then as that's going, we can see what our next solution is going to need to be, where we're going to need the green gem. But I have to wait for this thing to go through. That way I don't mess up this current potion. So as soon as that's done, I will start moving this over to the green one. And there we go. Then we also need some corn. And yeah, you pretty much just continue this for 5 different formulas. Oh, and while you're doing it, you do also have to pick up these things and go place them in that tube. And yeah, just repeat this over and over again. And as soon as we get all of those formulas, I'm going to want to respawn right when I see job complete. We get the mad scientist hat. We're not going to use it because we just have 2 more jobs we have to finish. And for this next one, I'm going to take this helicopter over. So we started up and then we're heading straight over to this parachute thing. You can see there's this building, but we don't want to just jump out of the helicopter because you do want to land kind of carefully on this roof. Otherwise, if you drop down to the lower floor, someone tries to talk to us and I'm trying to go fast. I don't want to talk to somebody. So we can go up through here, jump to this thing, and it's time to go into this guy. He tells us we need to pop some weather balloons, but we're only going to do certain ones. So again, we'll reset until we get the place we want, which which that's going to be over by these mountains. This one's going to work good enough. And yeah, now we have this hover car. You'll see there are some balloons just flying in the sky, so we got to make our way over to that. We can make sure we touch it, it's going to pop, and then it's going to put out a device, which we have to go and collect. So we can bring out our net and just find where the device is going to go. It's going to have its own parachute. Grab that, and that's 1 out of 5. Sometimes they can also drop straight away, like this one. Instead of going up into the air, it just goes down immediately. Even easier to pick up. And finally, we can grab this last one, and now we just have one more job to do. So what I'm going to do is try to move downwards, and I think I somehow broke the game. Okay, I am not exactly sure what's going on right now, so we'll respawn. And I mean, that works. Anyways, our very last job is going to be treasure hunting. So what we can do is come into the treasure hunting society, and we can check on our map where this is going to be, and that's close enough. So we can take this treasure hunting thing and put it in this truck, again, that we just steal because anybody's cars are my cars. We also used our map to actually mark where it was, but we can just move forward, and there goes the treasure hunting thing. You know, it's actually going into a good spot though. Some might have said that was a mistake, but as you can see, we are in the circles. So I mean, not the worst thing that can ever happen. But for this one, I like to use my controller because it will vibrate as you get closer to the treasure. So I'm pretty much just looking for what spot is going to vibrate the most. Eventually, you see that there is a spot you can dig. We can press that and call time, which is 1:10:48. And that's going to be 3rd place on the leaderboards. All right, subscribe if you enjoyed. Bye.